Hello, my name is Hunter, and I'm a student at the University of West Florida in the English program, getting my specialization in creative writing. I picked the English major for a number of reasons. One, I've always enjoyed reading and writing. The second reason is that I would like to become an English professor on the high school level one day, so getting an English degree was an obvious first step. I'd like my students to realize that literature doesn't have to be boring and that writing doesn't have to be stressful. And then the third reason is that the English major is very versatile. If I decide to change careers and go into law or business or journalism, the English major is still a good foundation to have because it teaches communication skills, critical thinking skills, and attention to detail. The English major is centered around reading and writing. Every course that you take will feature a heavy dose of both, but most courses will focus in on one or the other. Classes like British literature or African American literature will focus on reading and digesting the work of other authors, usually within a particular time period or of a particular ethnicity. Classes like poetry writing and newspaper reporting will focus on encouraging students to come up with their own creative and original work, honing their own craft. So those are the two major categories of classes that you'll take within the English major. And another major component of almost every English class is discussion. If you're taking a literature course, you'll likely spend a lot of time sitting around talking about the text that you've read, breaking them down into their component parts, plot, symbolism, characters, and analyzing their larger significance. And then when you're taking your writing classes, you'll likely spend a lot of time workshopping the papers of your classmates and providing them with constructive feedback, critiquing them. So reading, writing, discussion, these are what the English major does. The capstone project is the project that every English major has to complete before graduation. The capstone project usually involves the student teaming up with one of the professors to either write something of significance or create a new program that will benefit the institution and the student's knowledge of his or her subject area. My favorite part about being an English major is just the exposure that I get to so many authors using so many different styles to convey so many different ideas. Just the breadth is really exhilarating. As an English major, you're encouraged to think deeply about the world around you. You're encouraged to look at things in new and creative ways. The hardest part about being an English major is just the initiative and time management that it requires. Writing a paper, for instance, is hard and grueling work. Good, solid essays aren't churned out the night before they're due. Sometimes I'll start outlining my papers 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month in advance of when it's due. And in addition to these larger projects, you also have reading assignments, reading responses, and of course class to attend. So that's why it's so important to establish a strict academic schedule, to stick to it, to do a little bit of work every day. All these reading and writing assignments will pile up quickly, so that schedule is crucial. It's hard work, but it's very rewarding. Before I entered the English major, I wish that someone had told me that the perfect paper doesn't exist. When you have 3 and 4 term papers converging on you at the same time, you have to be able to write quickly and efficiently, accepting the fact that you may have to settle for less than your very best work. Unfortunately, I learned this the hard way, but I've since started implementing strategies like outlining and free writing to speed up the writing process and to ensure that I do the best I can with the time that I have. accepting that the final product probably will be short of perfection, and that's okay. My advice for those considering pursuing an English degree, especially for high school students, is simple. Read and write as much as possible. And read broadly too. Don't limit yourself to a single author or a single genre. Branch out and write about what you read. Consider keeping a reading response journal. Also consider setting reading goals for yourself, like a book a week. Also, when you're working on classes for school, particularly the essays, put a lot of time and energy into them. Impress your professors, because these professors are the ones who will be writing recommendations for you when you start applying to colleges. Also consider entering some of your papers or maybe your creative fiction in teen writing contests, and you could potentially win prizes or even get published. So the more you read and write, the more you will want to read and write, the more you will enjoy reading and writing, and the more you'll get out of your time as an English major.